Alright, now we're ready for the first tough one. Part 4B, finding the area of a regular polygon if you only know the length of a side. So we look at this, we only know the length of the side, so yeah, we could find that. Well, perimeter, we need the apothem, right? We could find the, we want area, we want the apothem in here. We know the length of the side, so we can find the perimeter. But to find that apothem, which is right here, we're going to end up having to use this right triangle here. Now, since this side is 20 and this apothem splits the side in half, all the sides are the same, this whole side is 20, but splits it in half, this piece of the right triangle is 10 centimeters. So now we know one of them. We need to know this one. We don't know what this radius is. So we don't know two sides. We can't use Pythagorean's theorem. We're going to have to resort to setting up a trig equation since we only know one side. So we need to know one angle, and of course that's why we practice finding that central angle, so we could find this little angle right here in the right triangle. So that's what we're going to do first. So this is a long process, but there's about 3 main parts, but 2 of them you've done before, and this part you've done. Finding that central angle and then dividing it in 2 so we have this one little piece. So the central angle, what do? We take 360 degrees, divide it by how many sides there are. There's 5. So each of those central angles is 72. But remember, the central angle is this whole big piece right here. For that, the whole side. So now we're going to split it into 2 and get this little angle that goes right here in our right triangle. So we take our 72 and divide it by 2, the central angle divided by 2, and we get 36 degrees. So now we know this little angle is 36 right there. Now we're going to be able to label sides like we did when we did the trig equations before. But I'm going to go ahead and take this triangle and blow it up over here and look at it a little better. Be able to label the sides and everything. So I'll take that same information here. So here's this triangle over here now. We've got the 10 centimeters on this side, on this leg. Here's our apothem. And there's our angle, 36 degrees. So remember, we solved trig equations a while back. A lot of you learned this quite well. Got the right triangle. Of course, we labeled the sides first. Let's see, this biggest side, these 2 sides were the legs that make the right angle, so that made this side the hypotenuse. Opposite the angle, so we go directly opposite over here. There's the side opposite. And then the last side is adjacent. Now we'll be doing some other difficult problems, but this triangle, we're always finding this angle up here by doing these steps up here. So these sides are going to be labeled the same. You know, this side down here on the bottom, that little half of the side is always going to be opposite. There's their hypotenuse and there's adjacent. The apothem side is always the adjacent side. So now we look, what was the next step in setting up a trig equation? Looking for the 2 sides we know to set up in this fraction, or that we're going to use to set up this fraction. That will tell us which trig function we're going to use. So let's see, we know we got to use this side because we're solving for, that's what we're going to solve for is A, adjacent. And then we need one we know, which is opposite. And I'll give you your little trig chart too, but these 2 make tangent. Tangent uses opposite and adjacent. So of course we write tangent of the angle, which is a 36, and that's opposite over adjacent. So the opposite side is 10, the adjacent is our A, our apothem. So we got it set up. Now when you do these problems online, we're going to have, you know, for each question we're actually going to have 4 questions. The first one will ask you for this little half angle. Okay. Then the second one will ask you for this trig function. You set up the trig equation, okay, and you write it with something like this. And then you'll solve it, and you'll put in that. What is the actual apothem? So let's solve it now. Remember, we write it as a proportion. Put this over 1 and cross multiply. So this cross product, the A number, the apothem, times the tangent of 36. So like that. And then of course the other product, cross product, is 1 times 10, which is 10. So now we're solving for a. Since a is multiplied times the tangent of 36, to get rid of that tangent of 36, we're going to divide by it. So we divide both sides by it. What happens over here is this just crosses out. The tangent of 36 degrees divided by the tangent of 36. So we get a by itself is going to equal 10 divided by the tangent of 36. So you're going to take your calculator and do that. Remember, make sure you're in degrees. To get in degrees, I'll show you in just a second. Let's pause this for a second. So I'm back here. Let's say I got my calculator. So to check for degrees, you're going to hit the mode button right here next to this second. And make sure degrees is highlighted. Mine's there. So I'll go ahead and punch this in now. I have 10 divided by the tangent of 36 degrees, 36. Now in these we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So I have 13.7 and then a 6. So I'm going to round this up to 13.8. Since the next number is a 6, I add 1 there and make it 13.8. Okay, so that was the new step. You know, setting up the trig function in the triangle. We've already practiced this angle thing, okay? And setting up the trig function and reminding you how to solve it. And now, are we done yet? No? Does anybody remember? No? Now we know the apothem, and we can find the, what were we solving for? What was this problem about? The area, okay? So the area, of course, our formula was apothem times perimeter divided by 2. We just solved for that apothem and rounded it to the nearest tenth. That was 13.8. And the perimeter, that's right, we haven't figured that out yet. So we've done that before. It's pretty easy with a regular polygon. We know that side is 20. There's 5 sides. So the perimeter, the number of sides times how big each side is. So that's 100 centimeters. Remember, I'm going kind of fast because I don't want to bore you too much. But you can pause the video at any time or rewind it. So now we know this perimeter. We can put it in our formula. 100 centimeters, and then we're dividing by 2. So again, with my calculator, I usually just multiply those top ones. We got 13.8 times the perimeter, 100, and then divide by 2. And I end up with 690. So there we go. There's the next one. So again, when you do these problems on the quick check, I'm going to have you, first part is put in the answer, the first part. You find in that little half angle there, half of the central angle. So that'll be one of the questions. This trig equation you start off with will be another one. Tangent of 36 equals 10 divided by a. After you get the answer, we'll check the apothem. You'll put that in. Of course, we will need to put in, you're going to have to find the perimeter, so we're going to check that answer. And then the final answer will be the actual area, which were actually the question was. But that way we can see if you miss the area, we'll see where you went wrong. Was it the central angle? Was it the equation you used? Was it the perimeter or what? Or apothem here, rounding it or what? All right, let's see. Do I got one more example here? No, that was it. Take a quick look again. Central angle. Take some good notes here, all right? Draw the triangle separately. Set it up there. Label the sides of it before you set up your trig function. Okay. All right, let's see how you do. I think with some good notes on that, there again, if you need to slow it down or stop it, you're going to be able to do these quick check problems. But if you need a little help, let me know. I'll get you on the right path. So let's see, we're going to go to the following URL for our quick check problems. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I'm going to do the first one with you. Alrighty, let me pause it here. All right, so yes, the first quick check problem, you're going to take these answers, we're going to do it together real quick, but you'll see that it's the first one on the quick check and you'll put those answers in. I'm going to go a little quick on this, so if you need to pause it, go right ahead and write these things down. Pause it right now and draw the picture, okay? So what am I going to do first? Now in yours, they may be like this, where nothing's drawn for you. So I'm going to draw in the apothem first. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw this radius. And all they give me is this length of this side. So let's see, I'm going to remind myself that this little piece of the right triangle is half of that. And now we're ready to go find this angle, and then we can go set up the trig function to solve for this apothem. Alright, step one, let's go find that angle that goes in that right triangle. So first we find the whole central angle by taking 360 and dividing by what? How many sides there are. Because remember, this splits up into these three big central angles. Okay? So 360 divided by 3 sides gives us 120 degrees. Now we want half of that for this little right triangle in here. So to take the central angle and divide by 2 to find that angle, and we get 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees. I'll go ahead and pencil it in there. 60 degrees. Now in this one, I didn't draw the triangle separately, but it might be a good idea for you. Okay? Draw it in separately. That way you can label it and make it a little easier. Alright, so this is still my hypotenuse. I don't know if I label these or not. Nope. So I'm going to have some bad writing here. This opposite the 60-degree angle is right here. So we're still going to be using the same sides. Here's the adjacent side. So we're still going to be using adjacent and opposite for our trig function, which is tangent. Tangent of what? Well, the angle, 60 degrees. So the tangent of 60 degrees equals the opposite over adjacent. So the 6 over A, the apothem. We'll go ahead and what? Set it up as a proportion. So we still have A times the tangent of 60. The other cross product, 1 times 6, which is 6. Now to get A by itself again, we're dividing by that tangent of 60 degrees, both sides. That's going away, canceling out with that one. So A equals 6 divided by the tangent of 60 degrees. Check me out on this. You know, I've made mistakes before. I try to check it out good this time. So A, the apothem, I got rounds to 3.5 and we were in feet, so those are feet. Now we're ready to go ahead and finish this up. I'm going to find the perimeter now. So we had 3 sides and each one was, they were 12 feet apiece, so the perimeter is 36. The last step and the last question in this, the area equals the apothem times the perimeter we just found divided by 2, and we get 63 square feet. Alrighty, good luck on the other problems. Remember, this is in the quick check. They're going to ask for all of these things in here. They're going to ask for this little half of the central angle. Then they're going to ask for the trig equation. Tangent of 60 equals 6 divided by 8. Then we're going to ask for the, what does the final apothem come out to be? What was the perimeter? All these answers you're going to put in there. So make sure you get all those notes, because that's the first question on the quick check for part 4B. Here's where you're going to go to do those problems. Go ahead and pause it and write this down, and go to that Google form there. Good luck. Doing a great job.